As you're working your way through this module and knowing your community, you will have seen a lot of references and use of the MissionInsite tool. If you're in the Midwest, you have access to this. If for any reason you don't have access to it, please contact me. This is a valuable tool, and we are in our denomination, the PCA, trying to make this a bit more universal across the country, but we are not at that point yet. But if you do have access to it, I wanted to give you a little tutorial on how to use it. If you don't have access, this can also be helpful to see what it's like and how to best use it. So I'm going to run us through this module a bit. And when you log on, you come in here, you're going to be wanting to use the Next Generation People view. The legacy is old and it's really not what you want to be using anymore. So as you log into the site, taking a little while to come in. Again, this is a wonderful tool that will take you very deep, and you can be extremely specific to whatever region you are. We're looking here at the Midwest. If you know how to use the tool, you can jump right in and do some work. But for our sake, I'm going to have us just look a bit more. Toolbar over here, the info. I'm just going to log out of that. So at this point, you're able to view your area, the map, in a variety of ways. It can be very much just like any Google map in different formats, which is fine. We're not going to worry about that too much. This view works just fine. The different layers that can come out. As it's loading now, you're going to see it usually doesn't load quite this slowly. This is the region that the Midwest has access to. Each of the blue dots are the churches that have been downloaded in there. You're able to break it down and see by presbytery, according to those boundaries if you want. You're also able to get even more detailed if you want to look at different census tracts and identify and do searches by a census tract, by counties, by municipalities, cities, such as that. You can look at it in the context also of high schools and where those boundaries may be. Other tools down here, you've got, so we're talking about the layers, shapes. We'll talk about that in a little bit as we actually do a search. And then the other one here is plotting. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. This is one of its strengths and its benefits. So what I would say is if you're ever able to access this and you can get your church's information, all the names and addresses of your members and attendees into this program, what you're able to do is see, for example, where our churches are at, and where you have the red areas, you're going to see where the members are. Now, if there are areas you see, for example, it's just these ones here have not entered the information, but where the information has been entered, you're able to see where all the members are. This is really helpful to be able to do a comparison study where you can layer your church attendees and who they are, what their demographic makeup is, over against the area you're trying to reach, and to see who you are reaching, where is it similar, where is it different, which will enable you to more effectively identify and reach those areas, because you're able to see what is working, what has been beneficial. So I turn that off because right now don't really need that function. It's the demographics. This is really where right now we're going to focus on. But I'm going to say one thing before I go any further, and that's this help button. If you can go in here and select videos. All these videos I would encourage you to start here. What I'm doing is a very superficial, engagement. This really gives you a much more detailed opportunity. And there are, again, a series of different videos how to do everything that I'm just going to briefly show you in this quick tutorial. So let's just say, okay, we're going to want to do an area. I have done some of this ahead of time, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like. But real quickly, using the area of Economwalk here, just outside in Waukesha County, outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you're going to say, okay, what kind of shapes can I do? Well, you could be able to do, let's just say we're going to do a radius, a circle. The standard is 2.5 miles. You can certainly make that smaller if you want to be more specific. You can put an address in, or you can say, I'm just going to drop a pin on the map, and let's just say put that pin right here, and then draw that circle at a 2-mile radius. And that way, you're able to get a good sense of, you can make it larger, you can make it smaller if you want, and just do a quick study with that. It's a great way of doing it, especially if you're doing a larger area and want to get a very basic sense. Now I'm going to go over here and just remove the shape. Now let's say we want to do another kind of shape. Drawing a polygon can be very helpful. You'll get those tools up here as well. This allows you to kind of identify, let's just say this Highway 16 is an important kind of boundary for this area. And I'm going to go around the lake here, but then cross back this way, go across here. So that way you can kind of identify. Now, once you even draw it, you're able to manipulate it some more. However you might want to see that work. So now that you have a shape, one second. Turn blue. All right. So you have the shape. Now you want to do your demographic work. Now you can do custom reports by building out, let's say you really want to see the issue of families with children, and you can produce a report just for that area and see what it looks like and analyze it that way. If there's something specific you're wanting to ask, this is a great way of going. And so here, boom, it tells you what is there in the area you're looking for. So how many, 77% married couples, female but no husband, or a man but no wife. So you can see, high rate of what we would call intact nuclear family in this region. Quadrant reports, talk about that a little bit later. If you're just getting started, I would say start with one of these specific reports that are generated for you. Start there. The Quick Insight report is really good. If you're looking just to create a report that's ideal for an M&A committee, you're looking at a large area, looking at a couple different areas, maybe different parts of a town or several different towns, this gives you a good 10-page report. Executive will give you a little bit more. That is really going to focus more on some of the trends that are there. There's 12 insights that they take a look at for that. The next one, the full insight, this is your complete report. It's extensive demographic. It gives you the story overview of the whole area, as well as the trend view that giving you 4 graphs that reflect the more significant demographic trends. And there it gives you a 5 to 10 year window out into the future, which is helpful. And then thirdly, the full insight gives you a theme view report. It's a wealth of demographic information as far as people, households, families, diversity, housing, work. Other ones, the ministry insight and ministry insight priorities, and there's religious insight priorities. These come out of the Quadrennium project with Experian. I'll be going through those as well. So these are all the reports. Just click on them. Produces a PDF. You can download them. They're yours to use, and you can do as many reports as you want. So let's say we have clicked on this area, and we have produced these reports. And so in that area, so here's the original one. I'm not going to take the time to download them all now. So I've done them already. So here you've got that polygon that I first drew. And this is the Quick Insight. Again, this gives you a great overview. The population change. Okay, there's a good moderate amount of growth happening. There's a decline in school-age children. You look at the graphs further, you're going to see more of the elementary school shrinks, the high school's growing because the community is beginning to age. Other things, high educational level, very homogeneous. It is going to be, in this sense, you're going to see white, medium income, somewhat greater, upper middle class. Not much poverty in this area. Then it gives you the different themes that you can see how it compares against the state as a whole. So in the study area, greater number of marriages compared to the state, fewer single mothers, similar but a little bit fewer single fathers. Is other age themes that are going on there, educational attainment, almost 70% white collar. Again, saying it was very homogeneous. You had 94% white, non-Hispanic. Then it breaks down, and we'll get to this in a little bit. This is the community diversity. These are the quadrennium reports out of Experian, and how it's broken down according to even more specific segments. We'll talk about that more later. On the main page, you will see over here, as we mentioned before, under the help section, documents, they're going to have some opportunities, some other downloads you can do. And so one of those is this sheet here, a little bit smaller. And so if you're doing the quick insight, and that, there's a lot of stuff to look at here. This sheet will give you just to be able to fill out some things to know, okay, what are some of the basic questions you should be looking at, asking, and if you're producing a report for an M&A committee or an area that's asking about a church plant, you can fill this out, and it works nicely for that reason. Executive Insight is obviously gives you a bit more information. I mentioned the 12 themes of population, racial, ethnic trends, age, school, and so forth. And we'll, again, graph that out for you. So there's going to be definitely some overlap here. More information, a little bit deeper. Likewise, you can download a worksheet that helps you think through each of those 12 trends, asking some questions, help you thinking through the discovery mode for all of this. The full insight report gives you, again, even more. As you can see, it's about 33 pages of information. Some of it here is going to be overlap. So you have the story view again. You have the trends that we had seen before. People by age according to with the state. Breaking it down a little bit more, you were able to see, as I mentioned, you saw a decline of school age, but growth more of the young adult. A little bit of decline here because it's going to mimic that. These are the people that are having kids that age. And so forth. So there's a lot that you can really look at here and to determine, again, how does this area compare to the state? So again, you're going to see this study area having a higher educational level and less people that are just operating with a GED or less. So again, all this information can be very overwhelming. This is what you're going to want to do once you really have narrowed in on an area and want to begin to ask some of those really crucial questions for your area. Again, we'll show the breakdown, and we'll look at that in just a minute. Other reports, the Religious Insight report for this area talks to you about some of these main features. Some of this was done in the 2012, 14, being done again in 17 and through 19. That's able to give. So this comes out of a report from 2017. Still reason enough that's going to be quite useful for you. But you can see how this area compares against the standard or the U.S. average of religious beliefs. And again, very helpful if you're trying to figure out what are they really thinking about. The Religious Insight priority page is, again, a bit briefer, 7 pages, gives you some of that same information, but on a bit higher level. Ministry Insight is going to help you determine and think about what is this area, what are they looking for in the context of ministry. And again, it's not what you're going to determine what your philosophy of ministry must be, but it will help inform where it's going to work. What are the questions they're asking? So in this region, the modest to significant concerns are going to be listed here. You can kind of see when it's red, it's below the national average. So this one seems pretty close to it. Losing weight and diet issues in this area. Likewise, what are some of the other concerns that they're expressing? Caring for aging parents, issues of divorce. Again, with a high marriage rate, these are middle-aged, so part of this may be a sandwich generation. Again, graph. A lot of times you'll see the numbers as well as the graphs that are there. Issues, they're really modest concern. You see it's green, so that should get your attention a bit more. There are concerns of hopes and possibilities, fulfilling marriage, romance, intimacy. So this can, with 27 pages of information, gives you an awful lot to be thinking about where this area is at. This will tell you a little bit about reasons for non-participation in a religious context, and so the ones that are really going to stick out for here, a little bit above, is that one on not current, it's too old-fashioned. And beliefs about God and what have you are seen here. And then this one, again, much shorter, 8 pages versus the 27. Give you some of that information. So we've been talking about the Experian component. That is the handbook that comes here. When we were looking at the executive part, scroll down and we see here. So what are we seeing in the executive? Let me look at that one, and likewise I'm going to switch over here. So in both of these, you're going to see booming with confidence, age of Aquarius, and a lot of these first 4 ones are going to be the more of the boomer, the more moving to retirement. I'm going to focus just on these 2 for right now, only because you see that these are going to total about 26% of the population, but each of these after this C11, which is well above the state average. But there are some of these others are a bit above the norm. So we're going to look at these for the time being here. So the Experian report, A04. So you would go over here to this. Sorry, went right past it. This gives you just a 2-page kind of visual summary of the information as it's put out. So what they're saying is this picture perfect families. Some of the older reports will even assign what are the most popular names in this group. What percentage of households in the U.S. fit in this category? What's the population that fits in? So here we're seeing the population across the U.S. is 1.4. But when you look over here, we're seeing they make up 5.2% of the population. So it is a more significant percentage. What is, there's always some pictures here at the bottom that kind of give you a sense, some of the key features. What's the household age range for this family? They're single family property owners. What's the income? They're homeowners. You're going to see too, how do they most likely receive information? So email's not big, letters are so big. So they're saying for this group, any of the technologies are not going to be quite the way they like to receive it. And then they have a technological adaptation or adoption down here. They're apprentices. They know some. The next page on this will again kind of give you a bar chart of what's the estimated household income. This is why they're called, they're part of this A group in the Mosaic stats, which is a bit more of the top end, if you will. Here are the listings on this. The Power Elite are part of that. And Flourishing Families, Booming with Confidence, Suburban Styles. You can see how they're broken down, and they are more broken down according to socioeconomic status. Low income versus high income, young families, single and old. So that A04 is going to be listed right here. High income, in between, families and older, but they're not necessarily young singles. The other one that we see listed here is the letter O 51, singles and starters. So if we were to go over there and see how they are broken down, again, technological adoption very high. They are going to be using much more technology in doing this. These are single adults, more likely, digitally savvy in their sense, though household income certainly lower, younger in that sense. And again, you can see how that's broken down as well. This mosaic again is all a part of, and I'm gonna probably make you all a little dizzy if I do it that way. This handbook again is found in this area. If you're looking for any of the reports, you would download it from there on the page. There are some newer ones that will give also some of these same thing. A lot of it's really pretty much similar. This is a newer report, it's from 2019. The breakdown's pretty much the same. It's just the way the graphics are described are a little bit more. But actually, you'll see some changes here. They are showing email being very high, letters still high in that sense. And so same thing with the digitally savvy. Some of the same pictures, some different. You'll see where they're at there. As you go through here, you're then able to, again, you can download this. This is from 2014, really done 2013. So again, a little bit old here, but here it gives a narrative description of what, who they are, how they live. Very helpful for each of those. I'm just looking at these two groups. Very helpful, but it's going to be a little dated. So they're going to be talking about, they bounce between cell phones and iPods. So, okay, a little old. There is an option that you can connect through here that would take you to, it's listed under the mission guide. This is a newer version of that. So if you were to look here, click on that. What this one does, rather than giving you just a narrative, it breaks it down of who are the connections with these people. So here's the group that they're in, but their compatibility lifestyle versus who might be their neighbors. This will walk you through some of the information, but then get you to be thinking through some questions. So as you're doing the demographic work and you want to ask, what kind of leadership preferences does this picture perfect family that are, what do they look for? So the leaders, they're looking for leaders more of a CEO. They're looking for discipleship, a guru, someone that can talk them through some of the answers. And what probably won't work as well as far as hospitality, worship preferences. What kind of educational preferences are they looking for? And you can do these for each and then begin to make some of those comparisons between each of the groups. So if you were to take that and compare it over against the digital dependence, you're going to see some different, just a medium priority is that they're not looking for a discipler as much as they're looking for a guru. And you can see where there's some connections, where there's some differences. And again, who do they connect with? And you'll see here their lifestyle compatibility. You're not going to see the AO4 on there. Doesn't mean they can't be together or work together, but these sheets will help you think through a lot of who they are, what they're looking for in the context of practices that can help you think a bit more. And at the end, for all of these, there's some definitions. What do they mean by CEO or guru in that context? So that's a quick overview. Again, I encourage you to take a look at everything that's here and the videos that they do make available. And if you're able to put all this work, it's a lot of work that's here. Again, you'll see some examples of it throughout the module, but just want to give you this brief overview. Trust that was helpful. Thank you.